All right, so just a quick little summary. I won't call it a recap because we're not in the recap room. I just finished watching Panthers beat the Canes preseason game here Saturday night. Figured I would just pop something out here real quick. Um, we had a 4 goal deficit. Carolina made it real quick 4-1 early on, a little bit through the second period, and just piece by piece by piece, we managed to tie the game, and then we ended up in overtime. And both Boquists scored, not both in overtime, obviously, but Adam and Jesper both scored. Now, from what I saw, um, I think that Boquist will get that opening day lineup spot next to Lundell and Luster-Reinen, unless Samoskevich can get back out there. He's been injured. And you know how it is with Maurice. He says he should be good tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. Meanwhile, he's not been back out there. So I don't know if the plan is to give Samoskevich all the rest of the preseason games and make a decision from there. But Boquist looks like he fits with those guys really well. Lundell looks quick, no doubt there. So that line looked pretty good. Defensive, well, before I get into defense, a couple of the kids, Skoog, it's either Skog or Skoog. I think it's Skog with Giles and McAllister. Love the chemistry. I like this kid Giles. He's got some size, and same thing with him, like Samoskevich and Boquist. I would not be surprised. We're pretty sure that Nosek is not going to be on the opening day. No, he's hurt, so he's going to miss opening night and a little bit of time there at 4C. The way I see it is Giles looks like he should get a shot. Like, let him start the season at 4C when Nosek is healthy. You get him back into the lineup or whatever. But it's preseason and everything, but he had a nice goal tonight. He had a nice assist. He made some nice plays. He certainly looks a little bit like Samoskevich and Sordiff did a little bit last year, where we kind of thought one of them might make the team and stick around. So I think, again, with the injury to Nosek, I think Giles kind of has that 4C spot. It would be nice to see us have a youngster, right? So there's that. And McAllister looked good. Like I said, Skog, these guys, you're not used to pronouncing their names. There was somebody else. There was one other. Oh, Sachin didn't have the greatest of nights. He had a bad turnover that led to a goal, and he had a penalty. He took a penalty. I didn't notice him too much otherwise than that. Defensively, I think from what I can see, I kind of said this before, I think Mikkola might attempt to be a little bit more of an offensive-minded type guy, especially if it's going to be Mikkola and Kulikov. I think you'll see Kulikov fill the defensive role there, and you'll see Mikkola jump up in the play. He did a little bit last year. He did it again tonight. He's got some offensive ability, and he's got such long reach and such big size that he's hard to handle either way. So I think, we're going to have to make up some way, somehow, for the loss of Montour and OEL in terms of offensive points production on the defense. I think Mikkola is going to be one of those guys, and maybe Boquist. Schmidt, didn't really notice him one way or another, but that's okay. It's just a preseason. He's on defense, so it's not like you're looking for him to score a bunch of goals. Now, Drieger played the whole game. We ain't winning the cup if something happens to Bob and Spencer. Well, we'll put it that way, all right? He made some nice saves, but the glove, he got taken on a couple of goals there, glove side, where it's just like, man, he didn't even move. He doesn't even move. So, it wasn't like he was bad. He's third goaltender, but he has not. He's struggled since he left here with injuries and everything. He didn't. It's preseason. I don't want to knock the guy too much. He's the third goaltender. That's good enough. I'm trying to run down and see if there was anything else that stood out to me, but it's preseason. They're not really playing like a team. It wasn't too bad tonight. looked a little bit more organized than I think the other couple of nights where it was 8-7 or whatever it was. Um, Carolina's goaltender Martin really made some nice saves, or it might have been we might have won that game maybe even 6-4, 7-4. Lundell and Luosterainen, I think it was Luosterainen, tried the between the legs backhanded type of thing that like Kachuk likes to do. Didn't score. Martin made a few good saves, so Canes feel good about that. But they did give up, 4 straight goals. In overtime, we actually had a power play heading into overtime. And we didn't do a whole lot with it. I think Sachin was out there in the power play. You're not going to have a lot of, obviously our guys aren't out there, but it's good to see some of these young kids. I like Giles. I think he's got some potential. You just never know how the center position eventually plays out, right? At some point, you would like, instead of it to continually be an older, experienced veteran on a one-year deal, you'd like for us to have a younger guy that comes in like Luosterainen did, right? Remember, President's Trophy season, Luosterainen was 4C, and then he moved up to the third line next to Lundell. So, as guys, I don't want to say age out of contracts, but we've talked about it. Is for Hagee, Bennett, and Ekblad. You need to have guys that can come in and take those spots that are younger and going to be on cheaper contracts. So keep an eye on him. And then we'll see where that third line spot next to Lundell and Luosterainen ends up. Boquist looks like he keeps up with those guys pretty well. Looks like he's got a little bit of speed. But obviously, we're all kind of hoping Sam Miskevich can get back and take that spot. But it's getting late. It's getting late in training camp to see that happen. So that's it. Short and sweet. Panthers win in overtime 5-4. And I'll be back on Monday with the podcast. And then we'll only got a few more preseason games. And then opening day is October 8th. I'm working on, I worked on the fight song today. I'm working on the opening day intro. Be a little bit different than what you guys might expect, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it. All right, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on our way to 10,000. We're just going to fly over 9,000. We're going to go to 10,000. So that's how we're going to do it this year. Appreciate the support, and I'll see you all again tomorrow or Monday.